This is Taylor Talk, the #1 Taylor Swift podcast brought to you by TaylorTalk.org. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 176 of Taylor Talk, the Taylor Swift podcast. My name is Adam.
I'm Diane.
And I'm Steve.
And we hope by the end of this episode, you will be in love with this podcast. See what I did there?
Ooh, they should already be in love with us, I hope.
Well, they might be brand new to the show.
That's true.
But in case you couldn't pick up on it, we are going to be talking about You Are in Love in just a few minutes. It is a song I absolutely love, except for one line, and you're going to find out what that is and why. Yes.
I'm intrigued.
Before we get to that, however, I have a bone to pick with Taylor Swift.
The Taylor Swift?
The Taylor Swift. Turns out, according to some photos that have surfaced online, that last night on my birthday, in fact, last night, Taylor Swift was here in Las Vegas, and she did not say hi to me.
What?
How dare she? I am personally offended. It turns out she was here seeing Calvin Harris over at Hakkasan, the club in MGM.
Oh.
There were some pictures online. I believe they showed up on Selena Gomez's Instagram. They were on a jet, and then your favorites were here too, Steve. Haim. They were part of the group, and they did a little photo shoot
Adam,
together.
You could argue that Taylor Swift was here for your birthday at a party, and you did not attend your own birthday party.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Why
that's
didn't you go to the concert? That would have been a great concert to go to. I love Calvin Harris. Do you?
Steve, how would I have known? Come on.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
Calvin Harris, he's always here. He's a
always
regular
here.
at Hakkasan.
So it's never
okay.
special, and how do we know when it will be special?
When it's on Adam's birthday, duh.
Thanks, Steve. But on that note, though, I think that I think that everybody out there, you all need to give me a very special birthday present. Do you know what that might be? A vote in the podcast awards. Yes, if you missed last week's episode and you're not following us on social media, Taylor Talk is nominated for the Best Entertainment Podcast of the Year.
Yay!
In the 10th Annual Podcast Awards. It's really big deal for us, and we're hugely, hugely honored to be there, and want to thank all of you that nominated us, and now's the time to vote. Between now and March 24th, voting is on podcastawards.com. We're in the entertainment category. Just a reminder, you can vote once a day, but it turns out you have to wait exactly 24 hours between votes. It's not like it resets at midnight type deal. I thought that was really interesting. So if you vote at like 6 p.m. today, you can't vote until 6 p.m. or later tomorrow.
Yes, so what I try to do is I just try to vote the same time each day, so I never get messed up or confused.
Or set yourself an alarm for 1 minute later than when you cast your previous vote for the next day. So that'd be great.
Yeah, good idea.
You could do it Steve's way too. Either way, a reminder to go along with that. They say they are doing 100% email verification. Every time I have voted for us, I have gotten an email. Some people are saying they haven't, so be sure to check your spam folder, because if you don't click that link in your email, your vote doesn't count.
And also be sure to spell your email address correctly.
That too.
That could also be why you haven't received an email.
Exactly. And we appreciate each and every one of the votes. Like, truthfully, it's a huge honor to even be nominated. This year's nominees include a lot of actual, like, genuine, legitimate celebrities like Adam Carolla, Tyler Oakley, the podcast Serial, which has taken the world by storm. There are just huge, huge names involved in the podcast awards this year, and to even be there is a huge honor. But let's look at it this way. What a cool win for our fan community if it proves that Taylor's fan community is so big that even her fans win an award over other celebrities. That would be cool. Wouldn't it, Steve?
That'd be awesome. My question is, though, if you would win, how we'd almost have to show this to Taylor and be like, hey, look at this award that you can add to your shelf. Unless Adam wants to keep it on his award shelf. That would be
There's no way I'm donating that award to Taylor. Maybe. We'll see.
We got to win it first, though. That's the part we'll have to find out.
Got to win it. So go hit the polls. Podcastawards.com. Thank you, guys. Enough rambling about that. I know you guys have heard enough. You're like, okay, is this what the podcast is about? No, it is in fact about Taylor Swift. So, in the Taylor Swift news lately, hasn't been a lot going on other than her coming to Vegas. She is going to be the godmother of Jamie King and Kyle Newman's second child. Huge honor, and Taylor is undoubtedly very excited about it. Congrats, Taylor. Godmother Taylor.
What does a godmother actually do?
I think it's become more of an honorary figurehead, but what it would do traditionally is if something happened to the parents, like they became deceased, that person would take over custody as the mother.
Gotcha.
Taylor doesn't know it, but she is actually the unofficial godmother of my puppy. Taylor has no idea, but I decided that was a good idea. Thought it'd be cool.
You decided that on your own?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I did. Taylor has no idea.
Hey
So,
Adam, one
up?
thing there on the godmother, I guess it's also a drink too. I know that you're big into the Swifty
cocktail?
drinks. Yeah, there's a cocktail for it.
What's in the godmother cocktail?
It is Italian amaretto and vodka.
Ooh.
Fascinating. We do not encourage underage drinking. If you want to try the godmother, make sure you are of legal age in your respective country.
Amen.
That was my disclaimer there. I made it up on the spot. Hope you guys liked it. Let's jump into the main discussion, though. I'm really excited to be talking about yet another bonus track off of 1989. Sometimes I really feel like the bonus tracks are even better than some of the main tracks.
Sometimes they are, and I don't know if that's just because they're special songs because they're not on the main album. They're definitely better sometimes.
I don't know if that's it, but this one's phenomenal. The reason I don't see it being on the main album is because it's not necessarily autobiographical as Taylor's songs tend to be. So You're in Love was something Taylor wrote inspired by the relationship of her good friends Jack Antonoff and Lena Dunham. It started as a audio track that Jack Antonoff was working on and sent to Taylor, and Taylor was able to put the perfect lyrics to it to sort of capture the essence of their relationship. And according to Taylor, it captured everything Lena shared with her about their relationship, and Jack did not know that Lena was sharing such details with Taylor, but she was.
Usually guys don't know that.
Yeah, note to guys, apparently women share information about us.
Nothing is secret. Just so you know.
So let's talk about the song then. What do you guys like, or, well, I can't say dislike, but what do you guys like about it?
I think overall, just everything about it, the lyrics, the music. Actually, the first time I listened to it, the music was the part that I'm like, this has a very familiar vibe, and I can't figure out what the heck it is. And I swear I went round and round for a while about this, and maybe I should just go and do a Google instead of listening to a bunch of songs until I figure out which one it is. But it's funny, I actually came to the same conclusion that I later Googled, and I was like, oh, there's the answer.
Which is?
Which is Bruce Springsteen's Secret Garden. That was the one that was on the Jerry Maguire soundtrack.
I could have sworn somebody previously compared those two songs.
Well, yeah, that sounds familiar to me.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a true fact, though, because for Rolling Stone, Jack Antonoff even said that it has a very Secret Garden Springsteen vibe. So that's how he described what this song sounded like. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I totally agree with you.
I guess that's it then, since the guy that wrote the actual music for it says so. It must be so.
Right. I just wish I would have just Googled that to begin with instead of like trying to figure, I'm like, what's it sound like? I've heard this song before, at least parts of it. You know, just at the beginning, just that very kind of dreamy sequence that it starts with. Like even before Taylor starts singing. And I'm like, what is this? It sounds familiar. So, and we'll put that in the show notes, right, Diane?
Yes, we will. That will happen.
Over at taylortalk.org/episode 176. So Taylor herself, though, she said when she heard the music, the track that Jack sent her, she described it as her memory as sounding like the actual sound of love. Like, do you guys get that same feeling out of the sound? Does the music of the song sound like love? Because the lyrics obviously do.
It does. Yeah, it definitely does.
I would say it does, but in a very under the surface way. Like, it's not like a love kind of song. Like, it's very normal in a sense. So I guess in that way she's talking about real love in terms of each day and not like that like first love, I see you, you're hot moment, which is in some ways not love and just infatuation. So I think it's a love song, but it's a true love song in the sense that these two people are actually in love, and it's the way love actually works in real life.
Yeah, no, I like that, Diane, because that sort of crosses over not just with the sound, but with the lyrics. Because to me, the lyrics show the everyday aspects of love. Some of the lyrics are very literal, some of them are very deep. Mm-hmm. But it just shows, like, you know, just the small details that happen in day-to-day life of two people who are truly in love. And, you know, I think we should jump into those lyrics. We can start off with the first verse, just right where it starts at one look, dark room, meant just for you. Time moved too fast. You played it back. Anything out of that stand out to you guys?
It's very short. Like, each little phrase is very short and very specific, and she doesn't really put that much into one line, but you still get a really cool picture of what's happening, which I think is really neat that she can do that in like 4 words.
Well, she's always been able to do unique things with words.
It's just
she is the ultimate
example.
Wordsmith. But I mean, it's like I was saying, how it captures like the everyday things. It's like one look. There's something about just getting the right look from the right person, right? And she describes time moved too fast. It's same exact thing. Like, it's one of those things where, you know, all of a sudden you're several years into a relationship and you're like, didn't we just meet?
Yeah.
So that's just, it's a really cool way to open it up. Do you think there's any significance to Dark Room?
Is this kind of like them making out? That's kind of where I'm getting
you know, I guess since there's not a lot of words on the page, you could infer that. I almost seem like it kind of seems like to me they're leaving from just hanging out.
Right, and I think that might be with the time moving too fast. That's the way I see it. Like, they get together and they're spending some time together, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I got this to do, and, you know, then they have to leave each other. That's kind of what I'm seeing it as.
Yeah.
That's true, too. I mean, it could... So, Steve, are you thinking maybe there's a chronological aspect to it? Like, this is a date early on where it's like they had a great time and it went by really quickly?
Right. Well, I think the next line is kind of where that makes sense because of saying buttons on a coat, because that to me signifies somebody is, you know, going outside, you know, that's when you put your coat on. So
I'm glad you said that, because that explained one of the confusing lines to me, because I was like, buttons on a coat. I'm like, what does that have to do with love?
Right. So I think it just, you know, they were spending time together, and then it's like, oh crap, you know, we got this going on. We'll see each other again, puts his coat on, that kind of thing. So
Okay. And then that verse finishes off, lighthearted joke, no proof, not much, but you saw enough. So I think, Steve, that goes along with your sort of first date, early date concept. It's like, you saw enough. It's like there were a few little things in there. The lighthearted joke. And then you saw enough. You want to continue with this person.
Right. There were little sparks, if you will.
Dare I say sparks flew?
Sparks flew, yes.
I would rather say Sparks Fly, because that's the name of the song. But yeah, in the context of how you were trying to say it, yes, you're right.
Past tense, Steve. Past tense. This was a previous situation. So.
I see.
Speaking in the present tense wouldn't work very well there. So, next verse there. Small talk, he drives, coffee at midnight.
Who has coffee at midnight that wants to go to sleep?
I do that all the time.
Okay.
No, but I guess if...
Decaf?
Okay.
I usually... Well, midnight's always a question mark. The only place I can usually do that is out in Vegas when I can go to Starbucks. It's open 24 hours. I don't have many 24-hour Starbucks.
You don't have 24-hour Starbucks?
No, I know.
How do you survive? Where do you live? Jeez.
Yeah, but what do you need 24-hour Starbucks for unless you're going at midnight?
You really don't need it, Adam. It's not necessary.
I've been to Starbucks late at night before.
Right. It's great. Actually, it is a great late night thing, and I know that you probably shouldn't have caffeine late at night, but I kind of enjoy it. And, you know, it almost sometimes has that opposite effect where it actually kind of calms me down a little bit. So, you know, I think...
Steve, I believe they call that an addiction.
Probably.
It's not what we're talking about today.
Right. So I guess if anything, then this is them. Is this a separate time that they're going out for coffee late at night, or is this from that same first part?
I think it could be whichever one you think.
Like, is this a second date where it's, hey, you want to go grab a coffee? Oh, sure, yeah.
However it applies to you, Steve.
Exactly.
But, I mean, these lyrics we've seen thus far, including the next line there, the light reflects the chain on your neck, they're all just very descriptive to me. It seems like it's setting up the situation, because I definitely, this is what I was talking about, where I feel like these lyrics at the beginning are far more literal, where there's some more, I don't know, meaningful and deep. I don't know the right word choice there, but just some different types of lyrics throughout the rest of the song.
Well, I think the reason that they're very on the surface at the beginning is she's just trying to set up the scene.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. Is it sort of setting the scene for the rest of the song?
But maybe that's the better understanding of it at that point in time. You know, a lot of times when you go on initial first dates and, you know, the second and third date, you're just kind of aware of your surroundings. You don't know and understand everything that other person is thinking. So the stuff that's being described early on is kind of the literal stuff that this is what they're seeing. That's what I actually kind of enjoy, how the lyrics start out. And then later on, you can actually see the depth of the relationship growing.
Well, Steve, beyond that, though, the purpose of the song as a whole is to create the feeling of love. It's to represent how love feels. And that is where love starts, are with those little things.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
So it's, you know, dual meaning. It's setting the stage, and it's also following the path of true love, where it starts to where it continues. I don't want to say where it ends, because true love doesn't end. It starts and continues. So, next lyrics, though, we got, he says, look up and your shoulders brush. No proof, one touch. You felt enough. And boom, that's where it is. You felt enough. That's where that whole setup was leading to, I feel like.
So you saying that she is in love at this point?
Yeah, it's like you felt enough to know.
Mm-hmm.
It's those little itty-bitty things from the beginning that you felt enough to know that this is going to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, the song is moving sort of chronologically through relationship at that point. That make sense?
Yeah, I'm with you.
What else you guys got out of those lyrics? Anything?
I don't know. I found some of those lyrics kind of a little bit confusing.
Which part did you find confusing?
He says, look up. Let's start with that.
Well, it could be that he's like, oh, look at the stars, or look at that sign, or look at, like...
Or maybe he's like, stop texting while we're out to dinner and look up at me because we're on a date.
Oh. I don't think it was like that.
You don't know, though. That could. I don't know.
But I don't think the point of it is what he's trying to point out to her. It's the fact that they're... shoulders brush, and then it's like that little like charge moment where they're like, ooh, we just touched on accident.
Right? I don't know if that's just it, Diane. I think your shoulders brush is hugely important.
Yeah.
But I think he says look up is referring to eye contact.
Is that it, or is it looking up to the sky to look at the stars?
Eye contact, your shoulders brushing if they're facing each other is a little bit difficult to do. So I see them standing next to each other.
Yeah, but how do you know that they're
same thing and they're standing like side by side?
How do you know those two things are going together?
Because she says and.
Does she?
Says look up and your
this
shoulders
is
brush.
Copied and pasted from AZ lyrics, I'm sure. So are those? Does she say and?
I'm like 99.9% sure she says and.
Actually, I have the real lyric. I know that we've had issues in the past that sometimes the lyrics we find on the internet don't match 100% with
the lyrics that are in the lyric book.
Well, the lyrics in the lyric book aren't always accurate either.
And that's
Steve,
what I had a problem with this song. Even is the lyrics. I don't know. Maybe I just can't follow the order of it. But later on, there are parts that I'm like, they don't even say that. And then it repeats different weird.
Which version of the song did they write?
I need more of an one of those like bubble chart icon things that like points to, and then now read this, and then go up to this. If,
yeah,
something like that.
All right, Steve. So I mean about that, then maybe they are meant to be together. I don't know. Maybe she is looking down, texting, and is like, look up. But yeah, I guess based on that, the positioning of that word "and," I think that he's telling her to look at something specific. There's something specific to look at. So the chorus, in my opinion, is where it starts to get a bit deeper in meaning.
Yes.
Because you can hear it in the silence. You can feel it on the way home. You can see it with the lights out. You're in love. True love. That is the chorus, and that is like the essence of it. She's basically, the way I interpret it, she's saying love is everywhere.
Yeah, and
you can hear it, you can feel it, you can see it. She's appealing to all the different senses there.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but some of them.
Most of them, the important ones. And I think it's really cool how she kind of puts love in this place as something that you can hear when you can't hear things. You can feel it when you can't feel things, and you can see it when you can't see things. So that's just kind of a neat...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you can hear it in the silence. That's not somewhere you're supposed to be hearing.
Not something you're supposed to hear.
Right.
You can feel it on the way home when I assume she's leaving his house or something and she's alone in the car. And then
you can see it
with the lights out when it's dark. So it's like it's always there with you when you can't necessarily experience other things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. It's like you're not supposed to see in the dark type deal.
Yeah.
Right.
And so because it is something that powerful and that important and that influential in your life, you can still see it even in the dark.
That's why you're in love.
True love.
True love. And then from the audience perspective, using the hear, feel, see, like it's a great way that she can appeal to our senses as an audience. Because it gives you sort of an emotional connection to it because you know what it's like to hear, feel, and see. And I mean, I can see why those are the senses that she chose too, because that'd be kind of weird to, if you could taste love. I don't know. I don't know what love would taste like.
Like chocolate chip cookies or chai tea cookies. I don't know. Sorry. That was
love
a bad
would
joke.
Taste like chai tea cookies.
Yeah. That would be a great lyric, but
no.
It doesn't sound deep enough for Taylor. I don't know if she would write something like
wouldn't.
that.
Coffee at
she
midnight,
might bake
yes.
chai tea cookies.
Chai tea cookies, not.
But it's just a cool appeal to the senses as well. What senses are missing? We have like 5 senses, right? We got touch, sight, hearing, smell.
Yeah.
I don't know how love would smell either, which is really interesting that Taylor left that sense out because she has such an emotional connection to the sense of smell. She associates smells with memories, but exactly, she has all her perfumes down, but the reason she wanted to go into fragrances, if you remember all the way back to the original Wonderstruck, which was like 2011-ish? It was a long time ago. When you go back to the original Wonderstruck, when she first got into it, she explained that the reason she wanted to get into it is because the sense of smell has such a powerful connection to memories. She associates certain smells with certain memories.
Yeah, but I think the problem with using the word smell in a song is usually when you hear that word smell, you think of something bad, like,
stinky.
Ew, it's smelly. Yeah, so it's not as pretty as, like, hear,
like
feel, see.
Your socks, they smell.
Steve can write his own version.
Steve's the next YouTube celebrity. He's going to do rewrites of Taylor Swift songs.
No.
I feel it coming, Steve. You're a lyricist. But, Diane, you're also forgetting who is writing this.
Am I?
Like, if Steve writes about smelly socks, that's not beautiful. But I bet you Taylor could have found a way to incorporate smell and make it sound lovely.
Didn't.
I know. I'm just simply analyzing, speculating. I just think it's interesting because she feels it's a powerful sense. At least a few years ago she did. So,
and with the whole touch thing, though, Adam, you can refer to that previous verse, though, to see the whole touch piece there. So,
well, she said feel it, so that has to do with touching.
Yeah, the senses she leaves off are smell and taste.
Okay.
So, although, if we move on, this is what's interesting to me. Morning, his place, burnt toast, Sunday. Burnt toast appeals to both smell and taste. She included all 5 senses in this song.
Wow.
Yeah, and one of the things that I really like about that line is she says burnt toast. That's so average and almost kind of dull, but it's still like part of their relationship, because it's possible that maybe like Jack or Lena, for some reason, cannot make toast very well, so it's just like one of their like cute little flaws that they like about each other. That they
or maybe they like burnt toast. Somebody,
yeah,
I like
too.
You know, when I'm cooking like a hot dog on a fire, you always get that little crispiness going on there, or marshmallows, or you know, I always like my toast a little bit darker. It's not like
that's supposedly bad for you, like everything else. Supposedly, burnt toast contains carcinogens that cause cancer.
I mean, yeah, but
I'm not getting into that. It was just I was just mocking society's belief that everything causes cancer.
Well, yeah. It's not like they said that the toaster caught on fire or something. That would be a great lyric, though. You know,
that would be a great lyric.
Their toaster
but
caught on fire.
I did want to point out that was interesting because I even caught myself on that one. Just as I was saying, she only appealed to 3 of the 5 senses. She just boom hit the other 2 senses. Because burnt toast in general does have a very distinct smell. I mean, go into a Subway and you smell that like fresh
the
bread.
Smell of Subway.
See? Exactly. So it's a very, very distinct smell, and it's a good smell. And burnt toast, likewise, is a very distinct smell. It's something very recognizable, and it definitely, again, appeals to our emotions as an audience, as we're emotions, our senses.
Right.
I guess senses and emotions, for that matter.
Right.
As an audience.
We missed one of the senses, though.
Which one?
The sense of theft.
What?
The sense of theft.
Are you talking about stealing?
I don't know if I have that one.
What's the next line?
Is that the sixth sense?
I guess.
Well then, now I promised you all earlier in the episode that there is a line in this that I hate.
Oh, okay. I'm scared. Why?
Is it
you keep his shirt, he keeps his word. Totally unbalanced lyrics.
What do you
mean?
Why?
Well, because of what it implies about guys. Why is it he keeps his word? Like, why is she accusing guys of being the dishonest and liars and everything like that?
Okay. I understand.
Yeah, no.
I understand, but if you keep going in the lyrics, she said, and for once you let go of your fears and your ghosts. So it's possible, not necessarily that this female character in this song, it's not like she thinks that guys are all bad. Maybe it's just that she's been hurt in the past by guys who have not kept his word, and now she's like, oh my gosh, this is a guy who is keeping his word to me. This is precious, and I need to treasure this.
But she stole his shirt. That's what I think's important here.
She did steal his shirt. How dare she?
And that's not even, how's that even out with? It's like, well, she stole his shirt, but he kept his word. No.
Maybe it was given to her as a gift.
I just think that line is unbalanced and unfair to guys, unless you take Diane's perspective and believe it's a personally applied situation. However, if Taylor was writing this to be inspired by Lena and Jack, she should have left herself and her past relationships out of it. In this case, she has dated some scumbags. We know that. It's been all over the news.
Well, lots of people have that in their life.
Yeah. Right.
Well,
but it's implying that the guy is always the dishonest person in the relationship, and I think that's unfair.
I don't think she says he's always. It's just maybe she's feared that, and ghosts in the sense as she's had something like that happen to her before, so she's afraid of that happening again. And obviously all men are not like this, because the male character in the song is not like this.
Well, that's clearly true, but, it's still implying that that's something to, watch out for. But it's I think a more balanced thing is that he would have kept a material possession of hers.
What do guys want of girls?
Her scarf?
No, I think that usually, yeah.
I made Diane laugh with that one. No, I don't know exactly, but the point is I just... For me, again, these song analyses are very interpretive. This is my perspective on the song, and I don't like that line because, to me, in my mind, it's very accusatory.
I can kind of see how you think that, but I feel like that line is also important because it gives a sense of why the female character is so in love in a way, because she's finally found a guy that will treat her right.
But why isn't she keeping her word also?
Because this song is from her perspective and not the
Is
male
it though?
perspective.
It's not. It's being told from an outsider looking in. It's being told from Taylor's perspective looking in on somebody else's relationship.
But it's like second person because she says you keep his shirt, so it's like it's from the point of view of this you person. Because when the male character is referred to, it's he. I see it as more from the female perspective, even though you is not Taylor. She's like taking on the point of view of the you person.
Yeah.
So you think it's her talking to the female?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying there, Diane, because she doesn't talk to the guy and say, you this. She says he, so that means she's not talking to him. She's talking to her because she is the you person.
Right, and I get that point of view, but I still, there's nothing you can say that'll make me feel like those two things are balanced.
No, I don't think they're balanced, and I'm not 100% sure
They're
on the
really
whole
not
taking the shirt thing. I don't see how that even gets to the second line where he keeps his word.
I mean, it
because they're supposed to go together. At
keeping
least it
someone's
seems like
shirt
it.
and keeping a word is they're very different weights. Like unless this is this guy's most prized shirt ever, but yeah, they're not equal.
I guess what it is what you're saying there with keeping. In her case, she's keeping a material possession of his, and he's keeping his word. That's, I guess.
It's much more, I mean, that
it's not balanced.
Keeping your word thing in a relationship is the far more powerful element than keeping someone's shirt.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know.
And I guess it says keeping and not stealing, so that kind of makes that better.
Well, the next line then does play into these, and it does say, and for once you let go of your fears and your ghosts. And that's a hugely important line as well, because going off of Steve's theory from earlier about the song moving a little bit chronologically through, early dating through the actual in love phase, you've got the point where they hit full and complete trust, which is one of the absolute most crucial elements in a successful relationship and a loving relationship is 100% trust. And I think that's what that line is referring to is, you let go of your fears and your ghosts. So it's like there's always those hesitations, those things you don't share with your partner at first. And then all of a sudden you let go. It's like, here's everything about me.
Yeah.
I'd go with that.
That makes sense?
Yep.
Any disagreeing opinions on those lines?
No.
Anything to add to those?
It kind of reminds me of, was that last week? What week did we do the Swifties are listening to Ella Henderson Ghost? Was that?
We didn't actually do Ghost, but we did Ella Henderson. It was like 2 weeks ago or something.
Because that song just popped in my head as you were saying those lyrics, so.
The word ghost.
Well, yeah, but that song has a lot of that same sort of stuff and symbolism and that kind of thing. So, I mean, I kind of feel that reminds me of that song when I hear it, because Ghost is not something you normally put into lyrics, but it does have a special kind of meaning. Like, it's not about physically being a ghost. It's, what ghosts are and that,
It's about something hidden, like the way Taylor uses it here, and then also in Bad Blood. You live like that. You live with ghosts. She's talking to keep using Halloween puns, like skeletons in your closet. That's what she's using ghosts for, is sort of things that you're keeping internal and either regrets or things you don't like about yourself or things you don't usually share about yourself. Just things you keep hidden is how she's using the word ghosts.
Yeah, and also things about your past that haunt you. Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's an easier way to sum up what I just rambled on about.
You're welcome.
I didn't thank you. But thank you anyway. So, one step, not much, but it said enough. You kiss on sidewalks, you fight, then you talk. One night he wakes. Well, hang on, we'll look at that in a sec.
Yeah, we need to do
that needs its own little section.
Yes.
Okay, so you kiss on sidewalks, you fight, then you talk. I think this is now talking about the new stage of the relationship. It's like earlier you have that sort of dating scenery, the whole looking at each other and the lighthearted jokes and things of that sort. Now this is like a deeper part of the relationship. You kiss on sidewalks. You
public
fight,
display of affection.
Yes.
PDA.
I hate PDAs. Gross. People should not kiss in public. It's yucky.
Okay.
Cooties.
It makes me feel very uncomfortable. It really does. I can't stand seeing people like making out in public.
No,
So you're not a fan of this
way too
line.
much.
What's that, Steve?
You're not a fan of this line, then.
Well, I don't necessarily know if you can see that. I mean, it's possibly literal, but the idea of kissing on a sidewalk to some people is very romantic. So I think it just more shows that they have romance in their relationship.
I think you're right, Diane. I think it's more of a general description
Yeah.
of romance more than... I mean, it is also literal. It is talking about kissing, but not necessarily full-on making out surrounded by other people. But, like, a kiss on the sidewalk could be, like, you know, it could be a situation where after a date, it's a kiss goodnight, you know, outside of the lady character's home as the male character is dropping her off, or vice versa, since we live in a progressive society.
Yes.
The lady could be dropping the man off for the evening and giving him a kiss goodnight. I believe in that.
Yes.
That would be great.
Yes.
To be taken out on a date.
You love that.
Is that because
Yeah.
you wouldn't have to pay the bill?
Exactly. That's the best part of it.
How'd that work out for your birthday? Did you have like people take you out and such?
Of
or-
course.
Okay,
It's
good.
extended birthday. The birthday just keeps going for the next week.
Oh, it's
So,
birthday week.
Yes. Birth week. But that's not the topic of the conversation. Getting back to your point, Steve, I don't know if it's necessarily, even though it is literal, it's also not. Like, in my mind, when I hear that line, I see just sort of like a cute little peck more so than like making out.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you fight, then you talk. Again, crucial part of the relationship. Everybody in a relationship is going to fight. It happens.
It's just life.
It doesn't mean you are no longer in love. It means you had a disagreement. So
Yeah, and
talking it out is, of
and,
course, important.
One,
What, Steve?
one of the things that actually has been proven in different things is that people that actually have more fights and little arguments actually tend to stay together more often
Yeah.
because there's
I have heard that
communication
too.
and such.
Yeah, because people who don't fight tend to hold things inside, and then they kind of like
Become
build
resentful.
up, and they become resentful, and then it ends up being more unhealthy than just saying what you think.
Psychology Corner with Steve and Diane. So, like I said, the next line, super, super, super important part of this song. One of the biggest lines in the song. To this moment, this line makes me cry every time I hear
Me too.
it.
I'm gonna cry now.
Oh.
Were you being sarcastic? Because I thought.
No.
you were being genuine.
I tear up every time.
Oh.
I have some
Every
tissues
single
if you
time.
guys need them.
So, this is like very personal, but when I get married someday to whoever loves me, I'm going to walk down the aisle to this song, and this is the part when I'm going to come in. This part in the song.
Wouldn't this be better as a first dance song? But that's a discussion for
No, it's
later,
it's
I
whatever
suppose.
you want. Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about the line then. One night, he wakes, strange look on his face, pauses, then says, "You're my best friend. You knew what it was. He is in love." Boom! That's the moment.
Mm-hmm.
That is the moment right there. That's the moment. Steve, we're talking about your progression, right?
Right.
You got dating. You have trust. Now you have full-blown love. So, to me, the song is sectioned off in themes,
Yeah.
you know, based on that. You got, like I said, dating, trust, love. So now they're in love, and the way she words it is so incredible because it is so simple, yet so powerful. It, like, just gets to the point. It is what it is. It's like, you're my best friend. That means you're in love. Like, that's the moment right there.
Yeah, and I think one of the most important things about this line, too, is she uses saying that you're my best friend as the part when you know that you're actually in love, because one of the stereotypical concepts of love is always this passionate thing. It's all this, always very romantic, but really what you want in life when you're in love is a partner and someone that can be there for you. So
You want your best friend.
yeah, you want your best friend.
It's interesting because I hate crediting it back to them, but my parents. Ugh, gross. So, ugh, yuck. Anyway, so this year will be their 40th wedding anniversary. 43 years together. They dated 3 years before they were married. So 40th wedding anniversary. In a society where 50%, more than 50% now of marriages ended in divorce, they get the question all the time. How did you guys do it? And what their response always is, no matter which one you ask, completely separate, independent of each other, both of them say, it worked because I married my best friend.
See, I'm going to cry now.
So it's one of those situations. God, I hate crediting them for being right, because all the time growing up, you always want to be like, my parents are crazy. They don't know anything. And then all of a sudden you hit this point in adulthood where you're like, dang it, they were right.
Here, we'll give credit to somebody else. How about we give credit to Queen for their song, You're My Best Friend? Because that's what I thought about when I saw that line, was that particular song, which it's a great song in itself. They're pretty much telling about, a relationship that two people have. So
I like your reference, Steve, because it really creeps me out every time I hear this song and think about my parents.
I thought you said you like this line and it makes you cry.
I do. I love this line. I really do. And I just think the sound of it, the way the music just sort of fades off and it focuses in on her voice and what she's saying and the tone and the way she says it, it's just like such a bang, like such a punch. Like it's just like arguably the best line in the song. And I say arguably because there's some other great lines coming up, but I haven't quite decided what the best line in the song is because it is so well written. But that's that. And then of course the chorus repeats and it goes into the bridge. And the bridge, this is why I said that last line is arguably the best line in the song, because
the bridge is really good too.
This section of the song is so phenomenal. Like, it is so good. So it says, so it goes, you two are dancing in a snow globe round and round. Like, let's start with that for a minute. What visual does it put in your head? Because this is important for my point I want to get to.
It makes me think that these two people feel like the entire world is just them. Like, it's just them together in their own little space.
Ooh. Yes.
Nice.
Steve?
I'll go with that. I was trying to figure out where I was with that. Either that or, with the snow globe and all the snow comes around people and they're still getting through all that. But I like what you guys said better, so I'm going with that.
Well, slightly different from what Diane said, but very, very similar at the same time. For me, I get the visual in my head. I literally see two people dancing round and round in a physical snow globe with the flakes of snow and the big glass orb around them. And the reason I'm getting to this, why it was similar to Diane's but also slightly different, is because to me, I see that as meaning that the outside world no longer matters.
No.
It's not just that they're in their own world. It is that the outside world exists, but it's outside of their bubble. It's outside of their snow globe, outside their glass orb. And it just doesn't matter because they are together.
It's beautiful.
Regardless what the weather is outside of the snow globe, inside it is always snowing.
That is sometimes a good thing and sometimes not.
So that line, again, I'm still trying to decide my favorite line, because this is right up there with You're My Best Friend. And I love them both. Love them both. Next line is he keeps a picture of you in his office downtown. That, I don't know if I put that on the same level as the other lines.
It's so normal, though. That's why I like it.
It is normal, but then on a deeper level, it's also saying even when they're apart, they're still together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is part of, if the song's goal is to capture the essence of love, that is a huge component of that, being together even when you're physically apart.
Yeah, but what about having a picture in a wallet or something, or people not do that anymore?
I mean, people put them as like the background.
Steve,
on your
ever since picture phones came out, I don't think people keep photos in wallets. Just throwing that one out.
Yeah, okay, so I guess that would be the modern equivalent. Be like, he set you as the background on his phone.
iPhone.
She's his wallpaper.
on the computer screen, yeah.
So now this next line again, right up there again. You understand now why they lost their mind and fought the wars. Now, aside from the actual lost their minds and fought the wars, which is a brilliant concept, it's, it's all the roadblocks that you have to conquer and overcome to have a successful relationship. Why does she change the point of view there?
You understand why they. You mean
like who is they?
You're talking about the next line.
Who is they? I guess
because now she like earlier in the song we were talking about, with the thing about the shirt. You keep his shirt. It's like she is talking to the female character, right?
Yeah.
And describing the relationship to the female character. And, the chorus is describing love as a concept. Now, in this particular line, though, the point of view changes. You understand now why they lost their mind, even from 2 lines before, where it's you two are dancing in a snow globe round and round. The line we were just talking about, she's talking to them. Uh-huh. Now, who is she talking to, and why does the point of view change?
One of the coolest things about this line and how it kind of changes the sense of the song is that she's no longer talking about just them. She's talking about all the people in the world and in time who have ever felt love.
That's what I was getting to.
So it gets to like this really big picture of why there were, why all these people in history lost their minds and fought wars for love.
So the they is not the male-female character.
No,
correct. It's
like
everybody.
Ever. Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's what I saw too, Diane.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Isn't that?
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it gets so big and she I don't know, she just gets very big picture all of a sudden. It's really cool.
That is really cool. And then the second half of that line, of course, is the losing their minds and fighting the wars. They lost their minds and fought the wars. And that is very representative of what you have to go through to have a successful relationship. You have to go through different battles. No matter what the battle is, it could be anything from choosing the color of the wall paint to seriously.
Yeah. No, that's
seriously
true.
Choosing the color of what you're going to paint your house to, financial difficulties to financial successes. It could be anything that you have to conquer. So,
right. Or losing your mind,
that's so
like
powerful.
trying to understand, especially early in a relationship, is like, do they love me? How is this going to go? And, all that kind of stuff. Your mind just is going nonstop, going crazy.
Right.
So this could arguably be the best line in the song. Especially now that you have that full meaning of it now.
Well, Steve, the last several lines, the best friend, the snow globe, this, and then the next line, the last line of the bridge, it's finally another perspective change again. Now it's Taylor talking, and why I've spent my whole life trying to put it into words. It, of course, being love.
Yeah, but I don't think the perspective changes at all in this song. I think the entire time Taylor is talking to the female character.
Sorry, not perspective necessarily, but point of view and
no, I don't know
audience.
Point of view, I would say
audience.
Like what she's trying to zero in on, what the focus is, because at the beginning of the song she's talking about this guy and this girl and whatnot, and then at the end of the bridge she talks about the whole world, and then in the last line of the bridge she's just talking about herself. So the subject kind of changes in a way. Right. The focus changes.
Okay, the focus changes. I mean, I use the word perspective, focus. I mean, I don't know. To me, that's interchangeable, and that's not really the point of what we're talking about necessarily, but it's Taylor's moment of realization as the author.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These 2 lines. She finally figured out why, and now she finally figured out why she's been trying to put it into words, and she finally did it with this song.
Yay.
She's been writing about love for so long, but her songs have always been very relationship centric, never love in the broad sense, never capturing the emotion of love necessarily. You could argue me on
she
certain
talks about
songs, but
different types of love in different places where love happens in a relationship, but she's never written a song about what a true love looks like. I mean, she kind of tried to do that with
Mary's
Love
song.
Story. Well, that too. Sorry, that one. But with those songs, it was very, I don't know, she like seemed to only write the good stuff. And it was very like happily ever after, very rosy. And this I feel like is very realistic and but still.
Well, this song and particularly these two lines are when it clicked for Taylor, in my opinion. It's observing Jack and Lena and hearing what Lena had to say about their relationship is what inspired Taylor to write this song. And I want to make that pretty clear. In my opinion, this is not a direct description of Jack and Lena's relationship, but rather Taylor's interpretation of love as inspired by Jack and Lena's relationship. That's how I see this song. And again, why it's universally applicable to anybody that is in love, because it's about love. And to me, those two lines are very much about Taylor finally clicking in her head what true love looks like.
Yeah.
And it's not just things like Mary's song about growing old together or Love Story with a Romeo and Juliet, like we're going to love each other even if our families hate it. And
well, I think those are like parts of love, but not necessarily, I don't know.
But this encompasses all of it?
Yeah. Yes.
So, yeah, this song is so deep, and I'm really excited we got to talk about this. I think this is one of the best discussions we've ever had on the podcast. Now, does anybody have any last thoughts?
A couple.
Okay, go ahead, Steve.
That's why I asked. I didn't want to move on without letting you get out what you need to get out.
Well, I think one of them is kind of what this song was designed for in a way. I think that's probably worth covering.
What do you mean by that?
Well, like Lena Dunham even said about this song was, you know, if she and Jack would ever get married, this would be the song that they would play at their wedding.
Yes.
So, you know, I think that's an important piece of kind of understanding this song is seeing it in that perspective.
Now, what's the significance of that then, Steve, in your opinion?
Well, I think almost to the point of, is that kind of how this song was designed?
I don't know.
I don't think so, because correct me if I'm wrong. Did she or did she not say that after the song was already written?
Lena said that when she heard it.
Which is after it was written.
Yeah, so I don't think Taylor intended it to be like, I want this to be a wedding song.
Right.
Okay. Because that's kind of partially what I was getting out of it, was it seemed like it was some sort of, you know, like almost wedding song of sorts.
Well, Steve, again, open for interpretation.
Right.
Taylor's song is what you make of it.
This is true.
You know, that's why I was saying it's universally applicable to anybody and their true love situations, whether they are in one now currently or will be in the future or had one in the past.
Cool. And that leads me into, like, I made a nice little list of songs that we'll include in the episode.
Oh my gosh.
That's where I was going.
Besides, but you mentioned Bruce Springsteen, right?
Yeah. Actually, that is one of the
Queen.
songs I put in there. You know, Colby Calais, Lucky, that was another one.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
So, Steve, this is basically a list of songs that go hand in hand with You Are in Love, basically similar topics.
Right, except for the
Steve's
fact that
wedding
it's
songs.
a Spotify list, so therefore You Are in Love cannot be included in because Taylor's music's not on Spotify. But there's
We
a
all
lot of
have it
other
anyway,
good
it's
songs
fine.
in there. For instance, another one that it kind of reminds me of the song that recently came out was Sarah Bareilles' I Choose You.
Well, Steve, don't spoil them all. Let's link to it, Steve's Spotify playlist, at taylortalk.org/episode 176. That'll be in the show notes. Got a little taste of it. So if You're in Love is one of your favorite songs, like it is mine and Diane's
Yes.
and Steve's,
Mm-hmm.
then you'll probably want to check out Steve's playlist. I'm actually
Similar
very
cool
curious.
songs. Lots of lovey songs.
Maybe Lena will have a different wedding song after she hears Steve's playlist.
No, she probably won't.
Right.
I wouldn't.
Well, you know that-
Well, her husband helped write this. So
But
her
you know,
husband to
a
me,
lot of
possibly.
Swifties always talk about if they ever get married, they're going to have a Taylor song played at their wedding.
Yes.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
and I think
definitely.
this is kind of one that has moved way up high on that list now.
Yes, sir.
You know, with songs like, you know, Mary's song, what we mentioned earlier, or Love Story.
Or
But
mine. I like mine a lot.
Mine's a good one, too. So, I mean, that's a good question.
I think that this, I know, Diane, you wanted to walk down the aisle to it. I think this is a good first dance song.
Yeah,
You're in Love, I mean.
I think so.
I think you could make it be like that if you
I
want.
think
it's more of a first dance song than it would be Walking Down the Aisle.
Yes.
Don't ruin my dream.
No.
We're just modifying your dream. Making it better.
Walking down the aisle has to be more upbeat.
Right.
The first dance is supposed to be a slow dance.
Upbeat? Like what, mine?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Okay. Look, we're all planning my wedding on Taylor Talk.
So, Steve, what else you got? Anything? Or shall we rank it?
That was. Let's go ahead and rank it. I think, at least I'm good, if you guys are good.
I'm good. Steve, like I said, I feel this was one of the strongest discussions we've ever had on this show. Because Taylor gave us so much with this song. So, I love it. I love it.
It's going to make this easy,
Steve,
then.
Steve, with 1 being the absolute lowest and 13 being phenomenal, out of the park home run, how would you rank this song on a scale of 1 to 13?
It would be a 13. Lyrics, the music itself, everything about
Shout out to Jack
song.
Antonoff.
Yes, Jack Antonoff. I really wish that Taylor and Jack would write an entire album together because I think it would be stellar.
That'd be awesome.
Maybe for the next one.
Like a full collaboration, the two of them. Not that their individual stuff is not awesome, but together, I think that they are two of the most powerful music makers in the world.
They're just so incredibly creative, and they work very, very well together.
Right. For him to say, "Hey, here's a start of a melody," and for her to put lyrics to it and make everything just flow together, it's
awesome.
That just doesn't happen any other way.
So cool. So, Diane, 1 to 13, where would you put it?
13.
Adam gives it a 13.
Yay!
All 13s across the board.
Perfect 13s across the board. So, definitely one of Taylor's more powerful songs. Really love chatting about it with you guys. Let's bring back a segment we haven't done in several weeks. If you're new here, this segment is called If This Was a Movie. We got the title, of course, from Taylor's song called If This Was a Movie. And what we do with this is we pick movies and decide which Taylor Swift song would be the soundtrack to that movie. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Any volunteers?
I'll do it.
Steve, your movie choice is Indiana Jones. If Taylor wrote a theme song for Indiana Jones, which song would it be and why?
Dun, 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 dun.
That's not Taylor Swift.
How about Out of the Woods?
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Well,
from a literal perspective, anyway, Out of the Woods, because
right.
Indiana Jones he's in the woods, or more jungle, but
but
same type of thing. What's your reasoning, though?
It's just the whole getting someplace. That I think is pretty much what any of the Indiana Jones things is. I mean, it's all very action and location based and everything else like that. And I think this song is kind of very descriptive of such a thing like that. I mean, there are probably other ones that are pretty good, but I think that's probably...
No, that's a great choice. Not to mention the tone of the song is very frantic, and that's the feeling you get, like when Indiana Jones is being followed by a giant boulder ready to crush him. It's a very frantic feeling.
I guess the other one that would work rather well is I Know Places. I think that would also be up there, too, because they're always trying to escape, all the craziness and all that kind of stuff.
And again, another frantic song.
Yes.
All right, Diane, you ready?
Sure.
Your movie choice is 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, boy.
Wildest Dreams.
I did not see this movie, but I did read the first book, so that's what I'm basing my analysis on, or song suggestion. This is a very emotional book, very emotional roller coaster. So I would say Wildest Dreams for some parts, but although obviously not the entire book. But mostly You're Not Sorry, because I don't like Christian Grey.
Oh.
I don't like him.
I can't offer as much commentary on this one as I did on Steve's Indiana Jones.
Basically, some people will hate me for this, but basically, You're in Love does not apply to the story in the slightest.
It's like the complete opposite.
Yeah.
All right, who wants to throw a movie at me, see if I can come up with a theme song?
Okay, I'll do it. 101 Dalmatians.
Are you kidding?
No.
How am I supposed to pick Taylor? Man.
Something
I'm trying
happy
to think
with
of
lots of dogs, or maybe something bad about Cruella de Vil.
Well, okay, so first off, this is my puppy's favorite movie. He loves watching it. Now, Cruella de Vil is, dare I say, mean.
Okay.
So that song might work.
Just mean.
Well, for Cruella. This is really, really hard song. That was the first that came to mind because I'm like, Cruella de Vil, she's really mean. And I'm like, oh, mean. Taylor has a song called Mean. Shoot. What else could apply? Do you guys have any ideas?
Treacherous?
I feel like I'm passing off my movie. What?
Treacherous?
Kind of, yeah.
Maybe Never Grow Up, because you should always watch that movie no matter how old you are.
Oh, the puppies.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking treacherous because doesn't she chase them down like they're trying to escape and she's trying to get them and all that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, she's trying to catch the puppies. She wants. Oh, how about I Knew You Were Trouble? Because I think that's great because gosh, what are Pungo and Purdy's human parent names?
Anita? One of them's Anita.
Anita and Anita's husband, we'll call him. Anita's husband knows that Cruella is evil from the beginning, even though Anita works for Cruella and it's her boss and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Is that the way it is in the cartoon too? Or just the people version? I don't remember the cartoon.
Wait,
I don't
remember the cartoon?
I've only watched the people version.
I don't remember the plot.
Wait, there's a people version?
Yeah.
Steve, where have you been? It's
real puppies.
Yeah, real puppies and real people. It's the guy from Dumb and Dumber that's not Jim Carrey. What's his name?
I don't know. And then
Jeff Daniels?
Yes.
And then Cruella de Vil is Glenn Close.
Oh.
Who does a phenomenal job.
Is it good?
Scary.
Okay.
She's very scary. It's a good movie, Steve. It's on Netflix. Check it out.
Okay. I've seen the Disney cartoon version. That's the only one I know.
Yeah, but that one's really, really old.
Yeah, but it's classic.
All right. So, I guess those are a couple ones. Hope you guys like that segment. It's kind of fun trying to come up with Taylor songs to fit a movie. Before we go, however, Diane, can you please fill us in on what Taylor has coming up on her calendar?
I will. So, on March 15th, are the 2015 Juno Awards in Canada, and Taylor Swift's 1989 is nominated for International Album of the Year. And then on March 29th is the iHeartRadio Music Awards, where Taylor's nominated for Artist of the Year, Song of the Year for Shake It Off, Best Fan Army for the Swifties, and Lyrics of the Year for Blank Space. And this show will be broadcast on NBC at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Diane.
Which is on March 29th. Sorry, I said that weird.
Did you say that?
I did, but I said that it would be on at a certain time, and I didn't say when. So 8 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC, March 29th.
Awesome. Thank you, Diane. Thank you. And of course, before we go, so I have to fulfill a promise to many of you that emailed in and said that you voted. So shout-outs are in order. I want to give a very special thank you to Hannah, Jack, Ellie, Shayna, Callie, Janine, Evan, Elena, Sophie, Adam, not me, but a different Adam, Evelyn, Zandy, Emily, Ashlyn, Susan, Liz, Pearl, Tal, Lauren, Lena, Alex, Julia. Then from Twitter, Watched It Fade, Leroy 30. Anybody I forgot, I'm so sorry. Please just yell at me. Thank you guys to all of you that voted. We really, really appreciate it.
And keep voting.
Again, just one last reminder, if you could visit the podcastawards.com and vote for Taylor Talk as the best entertainment podcast. Voting is daily, or every 24 hours, rather, at podcastawards.com. We would really appreciate it. I also encourage you to look through maybe some of the other categories, see if there's any other podcasts you listen to that you can vote for. I know a lot of you out there listen to Psychobabble, which is Tyler Oakley's podcast. He is nominated for an award that is fortunately not in our category.
I think it's the LGBT category, right?
Yes, that is correct. His podcast is nominated. I know a lot of you listen to that. So definitely look through the categories. If you don't feel like looking through them for other podcasts you listen to, then just vote for us in the entertainment category. Love you guys so much. Thank you. Again, that link is podcastawards.com. Remember, guys, if you want to reach out to us, visit taylortalk.org/contact. Lists out all our different contact methods there. It seems like people's contact method of choice tends to be email, which is podcast@taylortalk.org. And also Twitter, @TaylorTalk13 on Twitter. All the other ones are listed out at taylortalk.org/contact. So, I've had a great episode, guys. Thank you both for joining me, Diane and Steve. It's been awesome chatting with you guys. But for episode 176 of Taylor Talk, the Taylor Swift podcast, it is time to say goodbye. So for this week, this has been Adam,
Diane,
and Steve
saying have a good one, guys. Love you all. Please vote for the podcast awards. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
This podcast is not directly affiliated with Taylor Swift.